How are you doing today?
How you doing? I'm good.
Thank you for joining us today.
Got no problem.
Okay, so um, I wanted to just, for anybody who doesn't know, go over the case at hand that you're dealing with right now because there's always a fresh set of ears of people listening, even though there's been different places that have reported on it. So I put in my title for anybody who does not know. Rymer is the alleged son of Jay Z. Um,
Yep.
and he's currently fighting in court for there to be a paternity test going on. So, for the people who don't know, do you want to just give us a little backstory to the trial and the case and what's going on and why you believe this to be true?
Well, honestly, it is a real long story, but it's been my mom been telling me this basically since I was a kid, and I basically just started getting older, and she just told me the same thing for years. She started at 6, then I got 7, then 8, then 9, and she just kept it going to the teenage years. So she was just so, so serious about just telling me and letting me know that the person I had around me wasn't my dad. So I was a kid, I ain't really look at it too much. But as I got older, it just really started to hit me different. I'm like, my mom just telling me this every year, and she's just like serious about it. So I'm like, if this is not my dad, mom, who is? And she told me the person, she said it was Sean Carter when they was calling him Jay-Z back in the day. She explained the situation, how it happened when she was used to, everything is in the affidavits. I don't really want to go into too much detail, but she explained everything to me that happened. And she said she went to court and tried to fight it. And basically, when she went to court, they just threw her out like she was lying. So I guess she didn't have the funds at the time and all that. But when she got with my godmom, they went back to court and we did have the money. So we just was fighting it from them. But my mom always been telling me this since I was a kid. And it's just been something that's been with me for a very long time. And I would have been thought this would have been over with by just going to the courts and just trying to get justice. But I just see that the courts don't want justice, or they not even trying to look for justice. They don't want no discoveries. They just basically just threw this to the side and dragged it along as long as they could. I guess it's just a money game, honestly.
Okay, and for some of the people who might say, like, you're doing this for attention or things like that, I want everybody to know that he has no reason to lie. This is what he believes to be true. So, if that is the case and anybody feels like that isn't the case, once again, he's just fighting for there to be a paternity test, and that still hasn't happened yet. And me personally, which is why,
Yes.
I'm sorry, you can speak.
No, I'm seriously, and it's been like, for the people that say that, for the people who know me, they know me. I'm a real family guy. I tell the truth. I'm not gonna sit here and just create no story and just make this up for years and put all these people that's watching, that's been supporting me, who really be putting their, heart into this, that's really going through problems just like me, and just, create a story up like this. We didn't just roll over and just make this up. My mom didn't just create this out of nowhere. So we only thing we wanted to know was the truth. We went to the courts for the truth. That's they say go to the courts, try to get justice. If it was wrong, they could have, showed us that this wasn't my father. But instead, they just did everything else, far as dragged it out and fraud and collusion with different lawyers and just took us to different states and just try to drag it as much as they could, and they still dragging it out. So it's just like when you say these court systems are really here to find out the truth, they're not. So it's like we didn't seen it. And I know a lot of people around the world has been going to courts and just been getting treated wrongly or not getting a fair due process. But I just want y'all to know I'm not just doing this for me. It's just for all the kids around the world and all the adults, because it's a lot of adults that don't even got their parents, mom or dad. And you should have at least know who your parents is. I'm not asking for nothing wrong. I never asked for any money. I'm doing great. I didn't have my dad from the people around the world that helped me. And my mom always been there for me. She always been there for me. Anything I needed, she always made sure she went out and got it. So it's like I'm not sitting here asking for money. I'm working with kids right now. I work for the Board of Child Care with different kids from all around the world, and they got all different types of problems. So one thing I'm looking just to try to give back, but I just want to know whatever you put your mind to, and you try to go and find out the truth. If they trying to block it, you should never give up. Because the only thing I wanted was the truth from this. Like I never got no handouts from nobody. Nobody never give me nothing for this. I'm not even take no interviews to get no big checks. I always been on here saying the same thing, and I want people to support me for that.
And I think it's very important that you said that you never asked for a dollar. And I want people to understand this. No one would put themselves through this much emotional distress for something that they didn't truly believe was true. Um, there's been a lot of things that have happened since he's been in court, and he could speak about it if he wants to. And we can't say that anyone is responsible for the things that have happened. But what we can say is that since he's been in court, there has been a lot of stressful and heinous situations that he's been in with his family. And so we're not saying anyone in particular did these things, but they're just strange instances that have happened since he's been in court. Would you like to speak about any of those?
Yeah, I would say it's been a lot of wild things over the years, far as this, people following us and, people popping up at our houses, different locations. I try to move around a lot and try to like stay busy so I don't have to really think about that type of stuff because I'm living an everyday normal life. Like I'm out here, I work every day, work two jobs. So it's like, I try to, stay like, and like really in the shadows and just do everything I need to do to just go to work and just collect the money for me and my family because I can't just sit around and just talk about Jay-Z and the courts and all that forever. I tried it and I'm still fighting for it, but at the same time I gotta take care of my family. I'm a man, but I would say that it's just been crazy. I just had people follow me, as I said, been shootings at the car. It's been weapons been put in my car. It's been like all types of crazy stuff. You guys won't even believe it, but I'm not just sitting here trying to, just create this big story so y'all can feel sorry for me. I just want y'all to just support me with anything I do. I'm just looking. I take everything that's happened to me, and I just it fuels me to just do better and just go out in the world and just help anyone I can to just try to do better because you should know I'm not gonna let nothing like this pull me down. I don't care if I never find out who the father is, but it's at the same time it's been something I've been taking to court for years. Me, my mom, my family, and for my mom had to take this to court all these years and she really took this to court until she passed away. So it's a little crazy for me that damn they could at least got it over with. They still dragging it out and want to fight it and using everything they can. It's been 13, 14 years.
And I want to say again, because this is like, it's a very simple answer for all of this. Why not simply just take a test to prove it's not true? It's a very simple fix. And that is why, like I keep telling you guys, I take interest in this because it's something that I feel like if you believe it not to be true, why not do the simple fix to show everyone? It's suspicious to me. What I do also.
It's so crazy that sorry to
No, it's
cut you
okay.
off. It's so crazy that I got in contact. I was getting in contact with the alleged daughter that was supposed to be his daughter too, Lakeisha. We was talking for a minute, then she just stopped talking to me. So it's like it's been real weird over the years. I don't know what her reason was, but I feel like it's been a lot of crazy stuff going on behind the scenes, and I just want y'all to keep your eyes open. If y'all go in these courtrooms and fully think that everybody in there is 100% and going to do the right thing all the time, you got to be, that's just that's not right. No one's doing 100% of their job all the time. There's always somebody doing something wrong. So it's like, yeah, it just shows you that the courts really don't want to find out the truth, and they just here to drag things out, and take our money. Honestly, and I don't want to say that about all courts because it is good judges, it is great lawyers, but remember, it's also bad ones. It's also bad judges. You don't know which bad judges are in these courtrooms or which lawyers are doing these type of things. So it's like everything is a game for real. So only thing we wanted was justice and a fair due process, and it just seemed like we can't even get that in the court, and we then took it to the highest court in the world. So it's like we know that everyone didn't seen it. So like they still got it hidden in the archives. But it just, as I say, it fuels me to just want to do better and show you that you just can't put your trust in these court systems.
So for give me one moment. For everyone who doesn't know, I want to speak about what the actual counts in the suit that you guys are filing are.
Yep. You say that again?
Oh, I'm
Sorry about
sorry.
that.
For everyone who doesn't know, just so we have clarity, I want to speak about what the actual counts are that you guys are charging them with in the civil suit.
See, and I wouldn't have that. That's what my grandma usually handles everything with me far as the court stuff. But I do know it is we do have a couple new charges against them. But far as fully knowing what they are, I just know it's this have been probably the same things that we've been fighting them for years. You know, paternity, not fair due process, fraud and collusion, and just just everything. Honestly, they've been doing so much, so we just been trying
I
to
have it
kick
in
them.
front of me.
Oh, all
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Yeah, Godmother, you can explain that to them as far as the charges. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Not fair due process, fraud and collusion, and just everything. Honestly, they've been doing so much. Godmother.
If you guys can hear me,
Yes, we can hear you.
yeah. So I'm got Ramir's godmom, and Ramir, you're doing a great job. You know, it's a lot to keep talking about this, but we need to keep talking about it. Yeah, can you hear me? If you
Yeah,
guys,
I can hear you. I hear you.
Yes, we can hear
okay.
you.
So I wanted to read the what you call it to you guys. And Ramir, you're doing a great job. You know, let me read you exactly what the charges are. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you.
I don't know why it keeps repeating. I wanted to read the what you call it to you guys.
Yeah, I'm getting an echo from your end. I don't know why either.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what it is. Oh, you know what? Hold on one second. You guys, let me go over to this other one and take this out because that's probably the echo from here.
Yeah, that's a lot of echo, Grandma. What you doing?
She just dropped down for a moment, guys. She's gonna get back up. I do have the case in front of me, but I just wanted to make sure that I have the same information that you guys have because it's your case, as far as what the counts are. So I'm gonna wait for her to get back up here so that she can finish going over it. But I do agree with her. It is a lot to keep going back over, and like you said, you've been dealing with this for how many years?
Yeah, it's been 14 plus.
14 plus years dealing with this in the court system, and still no answers to this day. And for me, every time looking at it, every time it seems like you guys get closer, it's like you guys take 2 steps forward and then get 10 steps backwards. And it's like a smack in the face. And again, like I said, I can't imagine the type of emotional distress just trying to deal with this is.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I'll tell you that. It's really been a lot. This. I take one day at a time, though. You know, I really try not to get angry or be angry. So I know that's not realistic, but you know, of course, I'm gonna get angry. But I just try to live happy. I wake up with great energy. I got my kids here with me, so it's like I really don't really be thinking. I try not to honestly even think about it on the daily because I got so much to do far as at the house and just trying to keep up with the kids. And I'm, you know, football coaching for the little kids right now and still. And so it's like I just try to stay busy, honestly.
Yeah, speaking to you and you telling me about some of the stuff that you do and some of the things that you're saying up here, you sound like you have a really good head on your shoulders. A lot of people who have dealt with situations with the same group of people, it seems like a lot of these people, including you, have good heads on their shoulders, and that's something else that I noticed. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Um, and you are one of the people that I truly do think about when I'm speaking about all of these things and hoping that everything is okay because
No, seriously.
for me, factually speaking, even just me speaking about these things, like I always say, I can't say what anybody is or is not doing now, but based on the history of these people and how they have operated in the past, um, I just always want to make sure that everybody is being safe, even when they're seeking justice, with situations
Right.
like this. So I respect you for even being brave enough to continue to speak up for that long, given that you've been through all the type of situations that you have with your family's home and then the car being shot up and just the type of stress that has come with being in this case and around that time.
No, that's seriously, and that's one thing. At least when my mom just passed away a couple years ago, she was just so she just stayed like stayed the same, stayed that love of mom, and she stayed with the same story. I could see if she would have changed in any type of way or said any type of other person name or just switched the story and never. My mom took this deathbed, and I'm like, what's it don't hurt me to just continue the case. The case was always bigger than me. I always said this was bigger than me. I'm doing this for this people behind me that really shouldn't have to go through this. Like, the courts can find out DNA in a snap of a second. We've been asking, we could have got this done privately. We done did so much and it's just been, they didn't ask
I'm
Oh,
back, y'all.
it just cut
people
them
to just
off
live
while
their
he was
life.
speaking.
Hmm. So in a nutshell, As you know, this is not a paternity case, although there's still a concern for Ramir for the obvious reasons. But we have kind of moved from that because it's so much bigger than that. And this course of paternity is important. But to go back to your question about the causes of action, the first one was by deceit by concealment. If you have the documents that have been filed, it should have deceit by concealment as the first cause of action.
On the paperwork that I have a First Amendment violation.
Right. So you sound like you have the older one. The older one deals with those kind of things. The first, second, 14th, because we have that one as well. But we had, if you're talking about the California one, or are you talking about New Jersey?
This is New Jersey.
All right. So New Jersey would be federal questions, civil rights, discrimination, First, Fifth, Sixth, 13th, and 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is the biggest of the due process because this is the reason why we're having this problem. We never got
Right.
a day in court.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And in a nutshell, that's where we are with that. But that one is actually going to the appeals court because the federal judges don't want to deal with other federal judges. And because Ramir's mom was underage and there's a Mann Act out there, if you will, there's some concerns there and they're just trying to stay clear from it. But at the end of the day, they can't really run from it because a judge should not be doing things based on somebody's status, money, etc. So if they would have did what they were supposed to do way back yonder, we wouldn't be having this conversation because you at least need to get your foot in the door to do what you do. If you don't let me in or let Ramir in, then you got to give a reason. It's not about winning or losing. It's about sometimes how you play the game or how you
Right.
call
It's
the
fair
ball.
due process. It's giving us that fair due process.
Exactly.
I agree, and I see, like using their status in the courts so that people can't get a fair trial or their just due. And
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that you guys the appeal goes through, and I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
that the case that you guys are working on right now goes through because like I want to keep really expressing this to everyone because it's very important. It is as simple as a DNA test, which is what started all of the other things and events, and it's something that could have been handled very quickly.
Yeah,
And
it
the
really
reason
could.
why it won't is because of her mother's age.
Yes, and that's something very important to speak out about. If it is true that Jay-Z is Ramir's father, then that will make him guilty of statutory rape, and I think that's something that they don't want to have come out for obvious reasons in the status of Jay-Z and the empire that they have.
Well, according to Rhonda's affidavit, whether the baby was before the baby discussion, she said she had sex with the older person. Period. So it's two problems, and that's why they're not doing it. Because by you doing it, you're saying what you're saying. But at the end of the day, they could have had a resolution for that because Ramir nor I went down that aisle. But because they tried to play the game and it was all about money, and they thought they were going to do stuff to us, and we were going to say so many words, yes, a master. They didn't understand it was going to be a response. And once that response came and we did what we did, then everything else followed. These persons, particularly attorneys and some of this other people that were
Yeah.
getting money, gaining from it, were
Seriously.
all a part of this machine. And they just hit the wrong family. I mean, anytime you have somebody come into your house 4 a.m. in the morning to talk about what?
Yeah, we definitely
Amir's
had some
car getting
crazy
shot
times.
up. That was attempted murder on his life. All because you're trying to go about the baby daddy? No, it was bigger, and they knew it was. And the court had a responsibility, and the judges, when they knew Wanda was underage, to do what the law says, get her a advocate as well as Ramir. There's certain processes that go along with underage stuff, and this all could have been kind of quiet, but they decided to do what they do, and I think, they did it to themselves. And we have freedom of speech, so we can talk about any other person's information that we know of, particularly Demori. We are definitely supporting her, and the stuff that she went through was horrific.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
It's embarrassing,
Seriously.
horrific
Seriously.
to live in a country and go through something like this.
That's just showing our justice. That's just showing what like we really need to all really stick together and for fight for change. Like, cause this the shit that they use, excuse my language, but the things they're using right now is really not working. There's so many loopholes in the justice system, and it's like they're going to continue to use them if everybody don't just really say something and really step up right now. We can't wait, to later. Like we really had to fix it right now because if, as I said, it's bigger than me. If this going to continue to go on, they can find people parents around the world. Or we could have been did that. Like it shouldn't have to take you to go to 21 or 23 and me or ancestry.com because sometimes them sites not even 100% accurate. So these guys all are getting using money and all this type of business stuff that we don't know about behind closed doors. So it's like why we can't go in the courtroom and just get it taken care of.
But check this out.
Everybody there.
Check it out. They already know your DNA.
Y'all know I've been
Already-
had my DNA in the system for
Right,
years.
your system in the DNA, but I gave it to the other side back in 2011. So they knew it. And then 2012 is when the drama started. This is the facts, everybody. 2011, the other side was given the information. In 2012, that's when the drama started with the misrepresentation of your property holdings, blah, blah, blah. So y'all pretty smart out there. 2011 is when they had it. And if somebody gave me DNA and said this, that, and the other, what you think I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna check it out.
You know what? I am so glad that you said that because I was unaware of that, and that's so important.
It's very
That
important.
is so important. So, for anybody that's not following, she's saying that the Jay Z and them have had his DNA
Yeah, we've
to
been
be
had.
able to test it and see if this man is his child, and they still have not come back and ran it officially in court. And for me personally, because I don't know what legally I can and cannot say, but I'm gonna say for me personally, I would feel like you might know something that you don't want everybody else to know if you're not gonna go get it done the proper way after you've already been given the DNA.
Come on. We done had people from his team call, and that's when we can't just say who it was because honestly, we didn't have so many random calls, and we know people of your father, and it could some of it could be fake, but the team I'm talking about when Godmom when we was talking to his team, like they was calling a lot at the beginning, like they was real helpful and all that, acting like they really wanted to solve the problem and all that. They asked who was in the car with my mother, who was the person they wanted to really know who was driving, like she already told her story, but they really wanted to have all full detail. I just ain't really get it. Like if it's nothing, I would anybody knows if you don't have no doubt in your mind that it could be a possibility, we would just
Yeah,
get it
Jay.
over with.
At one point, Jay Z was trying to do the right thing in reference to Ramir, but he let somebody get in his head and he left his heart. He got mixed up with that. And we kind of know who might have been. But at the end of the day,
I
once
got
he
an
became
idea as
aware of what
well.
we were, would you say?
I said I got an idea as well.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, in the very beginning, they were trying to do the right thing, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, that's what happened. And then it went downhill from there.
And
And
then
then
they ain't say nothing after that. It was just all
he
court
tried to,
action.
the attorneys were another, they got in there, they were greedy. They were all about money. They were manufacturing money. That's how these illegal sanctions came when they wanted to put on my property that I didn't know about. Because they thought I was going to sit back and say once again, yes, a master. No. So this is the culture here. And these are people, they're not even attorneys in high places because attorneys in high places know the law and they seek to resolve the matter. Not and they were just benefiting from it, getting money and leaving.
I think when they encounter people who aren't moved by money, it takes them aback because there's so many people in the world that are moved by money.
That's exactly what happened to Demori's husband. He was not pressed by all the swim plan. Apparently, the mother asked him to be a part of something, and I'm just going by what I read out there. And he wasn't really interested because he don't seem like that type of person. And if some people, if you're not all the way up there behind or somewhere near it, they don't like that.
And right, we didn't have people like seriously. I didn't want to little interview. We didn't help people out because most of the interview, like all the interviews we did, we didn't get nothing over. So we didn't see people start off with nothing. Now I wouldn't say nothing, but with just basic jobs and get promoted off our story. And we never asked for nothing. We done had friends that been helping us for years come and say we could have easily paid you guys $30,000, $40,000, and we done been to New York and all in different type of buildings and had all different types of people taking pictures and But we never received anything for that. We didn't ask for anything for that. It was just all about the truth for us, and just a fair due process. We go off of energy. Like we want everybody to know that if you believe in something, like then you put your mind to it, and you feel like that's the truth, and your mom not going to just sit there and just create something. Like you got to take it all away. And I know that's my mom. My mom of anything me and my brother wanted. Like she that's my rock right there. So I know
Based
whatever
on
she asked me, I'm
I'm
here.
sorry to cut you off. Based on the integrity and morality that you displayed, it speaks for itself about how you speak about your mother. She raised you correctly.
Yeah, I love that
They
lady.
were very close. She would never do anything like Ramir said to hurt him. She know why would she want to lie and get his mind all messed up for nothing? That's not who she was. She's a very good person. That was my goddaughter. So we were very close. So at the end of that's not even her character. And I had to vet her over and over again to make sure what I was doing was what I was supposed to be doing because God spoke to my heart. That's what happened. So then I followed through from that. And God told me, you stay in the fight until I tell you to come out the fight. I never knew the fight was going to be this long.
Yeah, we done.
But God spoke it. And the Lord showed me that this is a community case. This is not just about attorneys running off of these firms, because y'all got to watch some of these big firms. They're not what y'all think they are. Don't be intimidated, anybody out there, because some of them are not who you think. They're a part of sex trafficking. They're part of money laundering. Some of the firms are on the backs of
Yeah,
their clients. A lot
seriously.
of
A
corruption
lot of
involved.
them.
What I'm hoping right now is with all of these cases and the way that they don't seem to be going in their favor, like I'm really hoping and feeling like the universe is doing this thing. A lot of cracks in the foundation have come out. So it seems
Yep.
like with all of you guys' cases, whether that be Demore, whether that be Tory, whether it be a bunch of other cases with other entities that they have going on, or even Nicki Minaj speaking out, um,
Yep.
I really feel like that time is coming, and that is why they're really trying to stop people from speaking out, because the walls are closing in, and that's why they're trying to cease and desist the whole entire Twitter and do frivolous goofy things like that. But I feel like in my heart, just spiritually, like truly, I really feel like that time is coming slowly, and there's nothing that they could do to stop it, because there's people like you guys, there's people like me, there's people like Demore who we're going to keep speaking
Facts.
about it. No one cares. We're going to keep speaking about it and everything that's going on, everything that's public information, anything that we can pull. There's so much out there already, even like with Demore suing them for the RICO, right? Just going along
Yep.
with the
Yeah,
things that you guys are saying and other people, there's public record of racketeering already. So I'm hoping
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a case being built.
Right. There is some things brewing. And I think we have to stay positive. We did get a break in our new legislation for everybody that's out there, Legal Abuse Prevention Act in honor of Ramir's mother and other mothers of
yeah.
Ramir's out there. That when a woman comes in and has an allegation, blah blah blah, that she's taken seriously. I can say that Philadelphia, once they found out about her, being in certain types of relationship, particularly domestic violence, they took heed to what she was trying to say, but nonetheless, she wanted to see her child know what he needed to know before she left this earth, because she had seen death before she actually died. She had a life death experience. But at the end of the day, the Prevention Act is going to help other people not feel intimidated about the system, because you make the system. You are the system. And I think as a community, if we stay together and work together, and I'm thankful for you, this podcast here, keeping it,
Yeah, we
keeping
really
it alive.
appreciate you for even having a song, bro.
I
Seriously, man.
appreciate you guys for coming in. I like I just started last year, so I've been scared to reach out to people to speak, not knowing if anybody would
Yeah,
want to speak or
they got
anything.
me.
But um,
That's shit, I hate when.
I'm really adamant about getting the word out about all the things that are going on. So I think I'm gonna do that more. And I'm really glad that you guys came and spoke. You guys shed new light on things, even though I've been keeping up with the case as much as I can and watching interviews and doing all of that. You guys shed a lot of new light on things for me. Um, and just all the research that I'm doing into so many things that they have going on. And so you guys have just actually helped create a better timeline and more information for me. So I really do appreciate you guys like shining that light, because
Thank you.
you always
Yeah,
learn
that's no
something new.
problem, man. And it's I always say it's always great to have, people now. Like, we felt your energy, so well, I felt your energy soon when I got on here. You got great energy, so I always build off the energy because I would have felt like, honestly, I probably wouldn't have talked as much. I really don't really be talking as much as I say. I just be working and just spending time with the family. But I got great energy in this whole podcast, and I just really got love for everyone. I really don't try to hate no one, so I just want to share my energy with everyone and just be like, whatever you believe in, just keep pushing it and just go as far as you can. Like, it's never no limit, and you can just don't let someone tell you something without fully knowing the truth. Honestly.
Yep.
Well, I want to let you guys know I'm gonna continue to cover all the legal things that you guys have going on with this case. Any update, I'm gonna make sure that I go into the systems and look up for it to keep it updated, and hopefully, what I've learned and what I'm starting to realize is that I reach more people than I think I do. So I just want to really use that reach that I have right now at this time to really talk
Hmm.
about all these things because I sometimes I could say something and it'll go around the world and I won't even know. So I'm hoping that these things that we speak about right now are going to be those things that go around the world without me even realizing how much reach I have because it's important.
It's gonna have you speaking into existence now.
Thank you.
That's right.
I hope that we get to have another conversation in a more formal way. I will reach out to you guys and thank you guys so much. I'm gonna, if you guys don't mind, save this obviously and clip it, get it on
Yep, yep,
YouTube, things like that. So I really thank you
Yep.
guys for your time so much.
yep. Thank you, and thank
Thank you.
everybody for was here that's listening with us. Appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for your support all these years.
All right, you guys stay